What is faith in God? Faith, defined from the point of view of knowledge of God, is, first of all, the trust of the human mind in divine truth, without investigation about it, on the basis of the testimonies of Holy Scripture, sacred tradition and those miraculous signs that always accompany true faith. Is God good? Yes. Is the devil good? No. Is there evil on earth? Yes. What if God created everything? Then who created the evil? Is there ugliness, arrogance, disease, ignorance on the planet? If it's all there, so who created them? In fact, this is the only reasonable thought. But you need to ask more specifically, who created the human immunodeficiency virus? Who created the pale spirochaete? Who created the bull chain? Who made it so that an innocent child could be born with Down syndrome because of an extra chromosome? Such questions will not be so easily dismissed by saying that disease does not exist. This is the absence of God. Infectious diseases are the presence of very specific microbes in the body, and hereditary diseases are the result of very specific mutations. Science claims that humans have 5 senses to explore the world. Tell me, have you ever seen God? But if you are not a fool, then you understand that we also use a scientific method and devices to explore the world. For example, we cannot sense radio waves, but we can show that they exist by using radio. Cause and effect relationships are not given to us in sensations. We derive them from information about the world around us. Similarly, we output information about the structure. Have you heard God? Have you ever felt God? Have you tasted it? Did you smell it? No. But do you still believe in Him? Based on the findings, science can claim that there is no God. Of course, science will not assert anything based on the above conclusions. This is absurd. However, a scientist can argue that there is no reason to believe in God, because not only through the 5 senses, but also through no experiments, no devices can show that He exists. No way has been found to distinguish between the hypotheses that there is a God and that there is no God. God is not a falsifiable, unscientific idea. In this sense, God is no better or worse than any other fictional character, be it Santa Claus, a leprechaun, an invisible unicorn, or a fairy, in which sane people do not believe. That's exactly why faith is the main problem of science. It is not accepted to use faith in science. This is a problem of a society far from science. Is there a cold? What kind of question is that? Of course there is. In fact, there is no cold. According to the laws of physics, what we think of as cold is actually the absence of heat. A person or an object can be studied for whether it has or transmits energy. Absolute zero, minus 460 degrees Fahrenheit, is a complete absence of heat. All matter becomes inert and unable to react at this temperature. There is no cold. We created this word to describe what we feel in the absence of heat. Cold is a sensation that occurs in our brain as a result of the excitation of certain sensitive cells with certain receptors located in the membranes of these cells. These cells can be excited both due to low temperature and under the influence of certain chemicals. We can experimentally show the existence of cold receptors in humans and find out in which cases they are activated and in which they are not. The study of the effect of low temperatures on biological or other objects is also amenable to study. But God is not amenable to such research. Does darkness exist? Of course there is. For example, the night. But in fact, darkness also does not exist. Darkness is really the absence of light. We can study light, but not darkness. We can use Newton's prism to decompose white light into many colors and study the different wavelengths of each color. You cannot measure the darkness. A simple ray of light can break into the world of darkness and illuminate it. How can you tell how dark a space is? You measure how much light is represented. Darkness is a concept that a person uses to describe what happens in the absence of light. Now tell me, does death exist? Darkness is the absence of light, and death is the cessation of life. But we can experimentally show that there is both death, the cessation of life, and darkness, areas of space where there is little or no light. But no one has been able to experimentally show that God exists. Besides, the world's religions claim that God is omnipresent and omnipotent. So where does the absence of God come from? Sure, there is life, and there is death, the other side of it. But in fact, death is not the reverse side of life, it is its absence. A serious crack has appeared in the scientific theory. We are taught that we are all descended from monkeys, but no one has seen this process. Humans and modern apes had a common ancestor. To know this, it is not necessary to witness the whole process of evolution in all its details with your own eyes, as it is not necessary to have a witness to a murder in order to reconstruct the crime picture or the identity of the murderer. To do this, criminologists use fingerprints, shoe soles, DNA analysis, and so on. Similarly, Using DNA analysis, we can reconstruct the evolution of life on our planet and test the hypothesis of the relationship of certain organisms. But the existence of God does not lend itself to such checks. The existence of a human brain follows by induction from the fact that a brain was found in all people, without exception at autopsy. This is not a matter of faith, but a matter of knowledge of human anatomy. There is one connection between God and man. This is faith. Albert Einstein said this when he was still a student. And what did Einstein himself think about his religiosity? Although I was a child of non-religious parents, I was deeply religious until the age of 12, when my faith came to an abrupt end. I cannot take the idea of a personal God of an anthropological concept seriously. This is of course a lie that you have read about my religious beliefs, a lie that is systematically repeated. I do not believe in a personified God and have never denied it, but I have expressed it clearly. If there is anything in me that can be called religious, it is undoubtedly boundless admiration for the structure of the universe to the extent that science reveals it. The idea of a personified God is completely alien to me and seems even naive. The word God for me is nothing more than an expression and product of human weaknesses. The Bible is a set of noble, but still primitive legends. No interpretation, even the most sophisticated one, can change that for me. When a star falls in the sky, what is the first thing you do? Many people already have a wish in their head that they would like to make. But not everyone manages to pronounce it to themselves, and it's not that they don't have time to do it, they just push themselves away from this thought. Forget that with a shooting star it is necessary to make a dream. Many people just look at the sky and don't understand what needs to be done. That's how the moment passes before making an urgent wish, which could well come true. Is it really the main mistake of people that they are so inattentive? Perhaps that is why we become so far from the truth, from God. Maybe because of this, the meaning of life is not fully revealed to us. People in the modern world have become too busy. They no longer believe in miracles the way they did in childhood. And this is the main problem, because those who are too down to earth talk exclusively about serious adult topics, not giving themselves the opportunity to be a little children. This is one of the reasons not to believe in miracles, to refuse to accept desires, and not to think about dreams at all. And even if someone from good friends points to the space in which the answer is visible, we will still not see it until the last moment. Unfortunately, that's how a person works. You will never achieve faith in God and will not begin to resort to His help unless you subconsciously know that He is there and ready to be there. As long as everything in you is skeptical against God, He will not be in your soul and head at all. The same thing happens with the truth that some people believe in, but you don't. The meaning of life is to delve into its ambiguity, interest, and the development of many events. You are looking only in one direction and completely at the wrong thing to look at. You will never understand what the point is. And now go back to thinking about desire and about the star. Only a stupid person would watch a star fall. A smarter person will immediately make wishes. The same thing is happening here. Only a narrow-minded person would look at the finger of an outstretched hand, because apart from that he sees nothing else. But he could quite well if he could think wider than usual. What is the essence of Einstein's words? The fact is that only some people are willing to see more than just the situation. They finish what is necessary for themselves. They don't pay attention to distractions. They know how to dream and achieve what was once thought of. They listen carefully to those around them, not following their words, but listening carefully to them and absorbing everything. And it is precisely such people who have a huge future in their lives, because they do not attribute themselves to the category of fools. The great and brilliant scientist Albert Einstein spoke many good and wise phrases, which later came in handy to mankind.